everyone, and thank you for joining us today for another episode of What's Your Why Wednesday. I'm Laura Brandeo, and today I am joined by the lovely Ashlee Cragun. She is the Director of Recruiting and Strategic Sales at First Option Mortgage. Okay, Ashlee, most of us came into the mortgage industry by accident, but something kept us here. And it's usually because it's tied to our personal and professional why. So at this time, Ashlee, please share with us, what's your why?
Okay, so my why is what kept me here. Kind of stems from a story or some people that I've interacted with throughout the industry. When I first started, I was going to be a loan officer, but I started doing recruiting. And I ran into some people that were brand new to the industry. It was one of them specifically, it was a young girl. She'd been in the industry, I think less than a year. And when I met her, we actually ended up meeting at her house and we had cupcakes and we sat there and we're talking. And I walked away from that meeting just thinking, this girl's got it. I know this girl's got it. And she had the personality, she had the drive, she really was excited to be into this industry. And, you know, as I've seen her grow over the last 4 or 5 years, she has grown into a top producer and impacted so many lives and been able to grow her business. But what I was able to see was not just the impact it's had on people around her, but I've grown very close and seen what's happened to her family. And I've seen the relationships that she's grown in and the life that she's been able to do. And she had such a vision and I got to help execute that. I got help provide that for her. So my biggest thing about my why is that I like to help people's dreams come true. My why is that I do this because I can see the vision that other people have in their business. And I want to be the one that gets to help them see it themselves and help them get there.
Wow, that is very, very special what you said. And the whole time you're thinking about the vision, I'm thinking to myself, do the people always know their vision? Or do you come across sometimes where you see something in them that maybe they haven't even recognized yet? And yet you can see that, you mentioned it, you mentioned them having the it. And do you sometimes see that it and are able to draw that out of them to produce the vision that maybe they didn't even know they could accomplish?
I do. And I think it's something that I'm learning to develop is helping people see their own potential as well. There was someone I spoke with very recently, actually, and we were talking about his goals and what he loves. And as I talked with him, I finally looked at him and I said, hey, this is where I can see you going, but this is why. And I was going to say, these are the passions that I see. And I just clarify, is that correct? Are these the passions? And then just say, where could your vision go? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? What legacy do you want to leave behind for your family? By asking more questions with people or just getting to know them as a person, they're able to articulate for themselves what their vision is. Sometimes people haven't asked them the questions. Sometimes people haven't really taken the time to get to know what their goals are, both in work and out of work. And that's the fun of doing what I do, is I get to help people develop their vision and also be able to help them see the potential that they have just by asking them questions that someone hasn't asked before.
And that's so valuable. And that curiosity, Ashlee, is an unbelievable trait, because sometimes we don't ask those questions because we're so caught up in the moment, right? We're caught up in the moment of, well, I got to get to here, right? Or I got to accomplish this. But by asking those questions, it almost takes people out of that getting to the next task or doing the next process, that it's like, I didn't even think about that. And that curiosity, we all know, right? We can learn so much from children. If we just stop, right? If we just stopped being so serious about things and look at how children, they'll ask a million questions about things that we be just because, right? At the end of the day, we're like, just because. But why?
Yeah.
But why is it? Why is this? Why is that? And by asking those questions, even someone in, in your role, you're working with these people and you're trying to determine where they want to go and where they want to be and how you can help them get there. Those questions may open up their mind that they haven't even thought about those things before.
Absolutely. And I've had people listen in on calls, or I have people even in my neighborhood that I will have conversations with. And they always say, how do you know so much about some people? And I say, because I don't hesitate. If I have a question come up in my mind because I want to know more, or I want to understand, I ask the question. Yes, it can be uncomfortable for either me or for the person I'm talking to, but being curious shows that you actually care. And people often will hesitate asking questions because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings or offend them or dig too deep. And good or bad, I don't mind that, because if it is that big of a deal, people will tell me it's not, will respond that way. But at the same time, I think people really do like being asked questions. People really want you to know who they are as a person, because it's something that they hold to themselves so closely. And I think sometimes in different industries and a lot of business, people don't take enough time to dream. They don't take enough time to,
I think that's in every business. I don't think anybody's taken enough time to dream.
But what people need to understand is that your dreams, if you can get set up, or we can set you up, or anyone is willing to sit down and listen and help you set up those little goals to get to that dream, that's my why. And that's why I do what I do, is because I want people to continue to dream, because dreaming is what makes this world so great. And it's what drives everyone, is having goals and having a dream. Either people say they have them or not. Everyone has them. They just sometimes keep them closer to their heart sometimes.
And sometimes people are afraid to share their dreams because they're afraid that if it doesn't happen, then it's a failure. But you have to be proud of your dreams and you have to share them. And it's funny, I always say, it's funny, whenever I get a crazy idea in my mind, right? I always say to people, I'm going to tell you what my crazy idea is, because you may be able to help me accomplish that, right? So yes. I'm going to tell everyone, because you never know. Maybe you have a friend that can introduce me to someone that can make that happen. I don't know. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I love the one statement that right there. We all need to take time to dream. I think you are 100% correct in that. And, I always ask everyone for a story of when they realize the impact that they have on other people's lives. And okay, you made the decision. You didn't go into origination. You decided to go on to the recruiting side. Give me a story of where you realized that impact by being in that role.
I think I see it a lot. I think, and that's kind of a hard question, because there's a lot of stories that I've had both in work and at home, the impacts that I've seen. And, I think that I don't know if I have one exact story. I think the story I shared about my friend and how it impacted her family and how it impacted, where she's at in her career. But I think overall, what keeps me going and why I stay in this industry, the stories I think also come from my family.
Okay.
And this will tie back, and I don't know, I don't know where this is going. So
Tell me.
So I remember one day I was sitting with my son, and my boyfriend and his son were my boyfriend's son was with us. And they were sitting there talking and my phone rang. And I pick it up and I start talking, and then the boy, my boyfriend's son, who we had just started dating. So my son looked at him because they were talking. He goes, "Shh."
All right.
He's
Work.
Like,
She's
my
on work.
mom's on the phone. And, and he was so excited about it. He's like, my mom's on the phone. She's out there. She's talking to someone new. Let's listen. And so that's, I think, one story that's always sat with me is that I saw the impact it had on him, because he got to listen and he developed strong relationships. I have recruits that know my son. I have people I work with that know my son. And that, I think, was really important to me, because that moment in the car was a realization that people watch what you do and people see. And my son was seeing me help people get to better situations and develop those strong relationships with people that I worked with at work and just in the industry. And that, I think, was my story of when I realized that my son could see the importance of hard work and belief in other people as well.
I love that story. And I say it all the time, that others are watching all the time, whether it's our children, whether it's our spouse, whether it's our teammates, whoever, right? Somebody's always watching. And the impact that we have on others as humans is monumental. It's monumental. And a lot of times you don't even know the impact that you have. I just know your son is always watching and listening and paying close attention to everything. And I agree with you. It gives me great pride of all of us in this industry and the lessons that we have taught our children by watching what we do and the impact that we make in a positive way. It is very, very special. And I'm happy that you have realized that, because yes, you are making that impact and you are changing lives. And even Ashlee, you taking the time and care to ask people questions, because you're right. People, when you have to care to ask questions. It's when you have no connection or you don't care about someone, it's very simple to have superficial conversations and not really get to know them. Mm-hmm. It takes some time and energy and caring to truly get to know someone. So that is special. And that why that you're tied to is making a difference in those people's lives too. So thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for sharing your why. You are awesome. Keep shining brightly out there. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you.